Feuds that went on behind the scenes of your favorite TV shows. Sometimes, on-screen drama can permeate into stars' off-screen lives. We've compiled a list of the biggest feuds between your favorite co-stars and crew members on your favorite TV shows. David Cassidy and Jeremy Gelbvax, The Partridge Family. When it came to the role of Chris, Brian Forrester replaced young Jeremy Gelbvax. However, despite the official reasons given for the recast, the real reason is because David Cassidy said Jeremy had a personality conflict with the cast and the producers. Bill Moyers and Morley Safer, 60 Minutes. For the esteemed news journalists Bill Moyer and Morley Safer, there were rumors of ongoing issues. Moyers claimed that Safer disliked him since his stint as President Lyndon Johnson's press secretary. Melissa Gilbert and Dean Butler, Little House on the Prairie. Melissa Gilbert, 15 at the time, didn't want to kiss a fully grown man with stubble, and the age difference between the two provided a huge stumbling block to the series. Writers eliminated most of the kissing scenes and replaced them with side hugs. The entire cast, the Dukes of Hazzard. While the Dukes seemed to be a family that couldn't be any closer, in real life, the actors weren't friendly at all with one another, and there was a lot of fighting on the set. Eve Plum and Maureen McCormick, The Brady Bunch. Eve Plum, Jan Brady, and Maureen McCormick, Marcia Brady, had a long-standing feud as child actors who simply didn't like one another. Betty White and Bea Arthur, The Golden Girls. It's not entirely clear why Arthur disliked White. However, White said in a 2011 interview that Arthur wasn't a fan of her cheerfulness, as Arthur herself had a very serious and professional attitude. Gabe Kaplan and Marcia Strassman, Welcome Back, Kotter. Marcia Strassman, who played his wife, was absolutely miserable doing scenes with Kaplan and hated the series. Things grew so heated on set that everyone was forced to take sides. Roz Kelly and Henry Winkler, Happy Days. Kelly found herself at odds with Winkler. After clashing with the rest of the cast and crew, poor Pinky Tuscadero was written out after only 3 episodes. Later on, Kelly claimed that she didn't have anything in common with a bunch of rich kids. Farrah Fawcett and Kate Jackson and ABC, Charlie's Angels. At the end of the first season, Farrah Fawcett resigned, and that caused a legal battle. ABC reluctantly released her from her contract, and a new angel was found in Cheryl Ladd. Nancy Culp and Buddy Ebsen, The Beverly Hillbillies. Jane and Jed had their share of problems on The Beverly Hillbillies, and the disconnect between the two stars didn't stop when the cameras wrapped. Culp and Ebsen were reported to often argue over politics and personal disagreements. Larry Hagman and CBS, Dallas. Larry Hagman became a huge star on Dallas and realized it was the perfect time to renegotiate his contract. So, he went on strike. He left the show and refused to return to work unless he got a hefty salary raise. Suzanne Summers and John Ritter, Three's Company. This feud arose after Summers was fired, mostly because Ritter was mad that she considered herself on par with his humor. Summers claimed she was shunned by everyone on the cast and never spoke to anyone again. Gene Hagen and Danny Thomas, Make Room for Daddy. Thomas and Hagen reportedly clashed on the set and didn't care that much for one another. Hagen tired of the show and of Thomas, and she left at the end of the 3rd season. Will Smith and Janet Hubert, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. On screen, it would be hard to notice that Will Smith and Aunt Vivian actress Janet Hubert didn't get along. However, conflicts over money and personality clashes led to Hubert's dismissal and Aunt Viv's recasting after season 3 aired. Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, Moonlighting. Constant fighting and endless screaming before and after every take led to the downfall of this popular TV series. Shepherd and Willis despised each other from the first day to the very last moments of filming for Moonlighting's 4th and final season. Terry Hatcher and Marcia Cross, Desperate Housewives. The two got into an argument after both Marcia Cross and Eva Longoria threatened to leave a photo shoot for Vanity Fair's cover in 2005 if they put Hatcher in the center. This show was apparently full of feuds, but this was one of the ugliest. Stana Katic and Nathan Fillion, Castle. Supposedly, Katic and Fillion were sent to couples counseling as a way to try and resolve their issues. Katic's decision to leave the show after season 8 was rumored to be due to her rocky relationship with Fillion. Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, Laverne and Shirley. Marshall's co-star Cindy Williams claimed that Penny always wanted her gone so that she could have the spotlight all to herself. Whether that's how Marshall felt or not, that's how it ended. Jenny Garth and Shannon Doherty, 90,210. At the height of the feud, there was supposedly a physical fight between the two girls, after Doherty pulled up Garth's skirt and flashed the crew. The two have since reconciled and get along much better now as adults. Allison Hannigan and Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy. Initially, the two had gotten along well in the early days of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but as their careers advanced, they began to butt heads more and more. Hostility flared into fights out of nowhere toward the beginning of the third season. Charlie Sheen and Chuck Lorre, 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen's behavior during the latter half of his time on 2.5 Men was nothing short of erratic and insane. Sheen repeatedly verbally attacked Lorre in unhinged interviews, and the feud between the two is still alive and well. Shannon Doherty and Alyssa Milano, Charmed. Milano chalked up their feud to major personality clashes coupled with the countless hours they spent with each other on set. After a while, it became clear that one of the girls had to go, and the studio decided it would be Doherty. America Ferrera and Lindsay Lohan, Ugly Betty. Lohan started out as a guest appearance on ABC's sitcom Ugly Betty, and her run was easily the most tumultuous and troubled. Ferrera and Lohan reportedly never got along during filming, and they frequently butted heads. George Takei and William Shatner, Star Trek. Takei repeatedly claimed that Shatner was self-centered and egotistical and never turned down the opportunity to publicly call out his former co-star. To be fair, Shatner equally served whatever Takei dished out. Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex and the City. Even though the two played best friends on the popular TV show, they reportedly completely ignored each other whenever they weren't filming together. Supposedly, the issues came down to Parker making more money than Cattrall and the rest of the cast. Jason Alexander and Heidi Swedberg, Seinfeld. Fans were surprised by Swedberg's sudden departure in season 7, but Alexander later revealed it was because Swedberg was almost impossible to work with. Nicolette Sheridan and Mark Cherry, Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives had its fair share of drama, but one ended in one of the stars filing a $20 million lawsuit. Nicolette Sheridan accused show creator Mark Cherry of assault on set, claiming that she had been hit on the head. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, That 70s Show. Though now happily married, Kunis and Kutcher originally couldn't stand working together and would avoid each other on set when they first worked together on That 70s Show. Vivian Vance and William Frawley, First Love Lucy. Vance immediately complained to Lucille Ball that Frawley was much too old to pay her husband with their 22-year age gap. Frawley overheard this complaint, and it only spiraled from there. Charlie Sheen and Selma Blair, Anger Management. Blair and Sheen played rival therapists turned lovers in the series until Blair was very suddenly dropped from the cast in the early part of the second season. The sudden drop of Blair led many to believe it was Sheen's doing. John Forsythe and Joan Collins, Dynasty. Supposedly, Forsythe went an entire season of the show without speaking to Collins outside of when they filmed together. That obviously didn't work well, and the show certainly suffered. Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush, One Tree Hill. Murray and Bush originally fell in love on the set of the show One Tree Hill, and they married after only a few months of dating. Though that happiness they found was short-lived, and they divorced within 5 months of their marriage. Kirk Cameron and Julie McCulloch, Growing Pains. Cameron took issue with McCulloch's previous posing with Playboy and demanded that she be written out of the show. This action alienated Cameron from both McCulloch and other cast and crew members. William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, Star Trek. Shatner was known for stealing lines and being nothing short of controlling on set. However, Nimoy and Shatner eventually reconnected in the wake of personal tragedies. Juliana Margulies and Archie Panjabi, The Good Wife. The animosity between the actresses took a close TV friendship that was adored by fans and destroyed it, and no one really knows why. What we do know is that they didn't appear in episodes together following the feud. Find the full list on alot.com.